So hello there, I'm going to share with you a fantastic tip that will help you to maintain a positive mental attitude, a PMA, a positive mental attitude, which is critical to you experiencing very high levels of happiness in your life and for you to be equipped to go out into your life to experience and to achieve all the things that you want to get out of your life, a PMA, positive mental attitude. And what I'm going to tell you, it's a huge tip which will help you massively if you do what I say. That involves a little bit of science now, which I need to talk you through. So listen in, here is the science around it. Now, we have brain wave cycles going on in our head. You know, our brain wave cycles are going round and round in our head when we're living. You know, whether we're asleep or awake, our brain wave cycles are going on. But when we're awake, they're going really, really quick. When we're asleep, they slow down. But they kind of going along at a high level and then they start slowing and then they go right down as we go into a deep sleep and they're at a low level of cycles. And then as we wake up, they start speeding up and then they come up and they go back to a normal level of activity. Now, what's really important about the brainwave cycles is that as they go down, I've done a little chart here, right? As your brainwave cycles slow down, so that's normal, you're awake and then you're slowing down, deep sleep, and as you come out of your sleep, you come back out of sleep and your brainwave cycles increase. But when you hit this level, so when you go to sleep, you come down, you hit a certain level of brainwave cycle, and when you wake up, you hit the same level of brainwave cycle. Now, that line there is critical, is very important, because that level there and there of brainwave cycle is what's known scientifically as an intensive learning zone. In this zone, you can really take on learning and retain it in your brain. Now, they do say that 5-year-old children only exist with that level of brainwave cycle in them. They just exist in the highly intensive learning zone, and that's why when you look at kids up to the age of 5, see them running around and learning, you can really see them learning and taking stuff in and retaining stuff, because that's nature looking after them, because they need to intensive learn how to live and to survive. But as they grow up, the brain cycles increase. Now, it's said that actually what they do to help military people, pilots, it's examples, people like that, when they're doing their training, they take their brain wave cycles down to that level, slow their brain cycles down, and then they give them their training, because they know at that level of brainwave cycle, they will take the learning in and they will remember it. It is said that when surgeons are operating on us, as we start to recover, someone will go up and have a little talk in our ear and tell us that things are going to be okay and you need to do this and you need to do that. We might not be awake, but it's going into our head and we're retaining it for when we are awake. The most important and critical thing that you need to understand is that when you wake up, for the first 5, 10, 15 minutes of you being awake, you exist in this highly intensive learning zone. And you will know this because you will have experienced it yourself. Have you ever woken up in the morning and there's been a record on the radio that you've listened to and you can't get rid of it all day? The reason for that is that you've listened to it within the first 5, 10, 50 minutes of waking up in the highly intensive learning zone. It's then been imprinted on your brain and you'll think about it all day and be singing that song all day. Now, that is really critical, and it's critical that you understand that you go into this highly intensive learning zone as you start to sleep, but as you come out of it, you're in it for 5, 10, 15 minutes. Now, why is that important? It's important because of this. If you want to live a happy life, and if you want to go out and be successful and do the things that you want to do, you have to have a positive mentality. Yeah, right? So when you go to sleep, do not listen to negativity. Don't listen to the news. Don't read a newspaper. Don't watch war films. Don't watch criminal activity. Don't do anything that's going to be negative, because as you start to go to sleep, you'll start thinking on those things, and as you just go into that high intensive learning cycle, as you fall asleep, you'll imprint it on your brain, and then what you'll do is you'll add to that, because as you wake up, you'll wake up in the 5, 10, 15 minutes of highly intensive learning zone of slow brain wave cycles, and you might put the news on again or listen to the radio and listen to bad news, depressing stuff, which is going to put you in a negative frame of mind. The other thing about it is that if you aren't aware of this and you aren't just thinking positive thoughts anyway, right, you could go to bed thinking negative, and then that's imprinted on your brain just as you go to sleep, and then you wake up negative and give yourself a good dose of negativity that will stay with you all day because you've thought about it in the first 5, 10, 15 minutes. So the secret is to Don't watch the news, don't read the papers, don't look at anything negative or naughty or nasty before you go to bed. Do something inspirational, do something motivational. Watch YouTube, watch someone winning something or something fantastic. Listen to some brilliant music, watch some good dancing, but do something that's going to make you feel great. Or tell yourself, I'm going to have a fantastic day tomorrow, and go to sleep on it. And when you wake up, just make sure that you are being as positive as you can when you wake up. Here's a trick. Here's the little tip that I'm going to give to you. First 15 minutes that you wake up, you're in the highly intensive learning zone, right? Your brain wave cycle's slower than normal. As you wake up, you need to be very aware. You need to imprint on your brain positivity. And this is what I used to do until my wife kicked me out of bed one day and said, stop doing that or there's going to be trouble. Right, I used to wake up, and I still do it, but I don't actually physically do it. You need to punch it out. That's what I thought to myself. Punch it out. Wake up, and you start punching out. I used to say, I'm alive, I'm alert, and I feel great. And I used to punch it out. I'm alive, I'm alert, and I feel great. I used to think Nigel Benn used to look like this as he came out of the ring. He'd have his head down and be looking up. No fear was his motto. Coming out of the ring, no fear. Oh, I'm going to no fear for this day because I'm alive, I'm alert, and I feel great. I'm alive, I'm alert, and I feel great. I punch it out. I'm alive, I'm alert, and I feel great. Used to do that for maybe 10 times in the morning. You know what? Oh, supercharged. Go out there, have a great day. I used to do it in bed. Start wiping all this sort of stuff until my wife sort of pushed me out of bed and said, don't never do that again, Dave. There'll be trouble. Okay? So be careful about what you're doing. But when you get up, make sure that you are saying positive things to yourself. And remember about brain wave cycles. Before you go to bed, when you wake up, fill your head with positive thoughts. I can do. Think about the targets, things about the things that you want to achieve. Tell yourself how great you are, what you're going to experience in the day ahead, how fantastic it's going to be, the great people you're going to meet. Think like that, and then it will happen because it just works like magic.